Hi everyone. I wanted to do a different sort of video this time and show you a week in the life, and we're going to start by showing you what my parish looks like on a nice Sunday morning. Kitty's still being a little bit rough. On Sundays we spend as much time together as we can before we start our week. So we grilled out and just spent some time relaxing. On Monday, I grab my cane and my glasses and I start to work. I'm still having some mobility issues with my pregnancy, but that's not going to stop me. The kids usually get themselves breakfast. I have a lot of different options available to them, and they do a good job of making sure that they get good nutrition. One roll up. Do you still have some? On this particular Monday, we were able to make it down to the museum with some homeschool friends and spend some time in some sensory areas. On Monday evenings, my oldest goes to chess club, and I get a couple hours to sit and read. Here I am making lunch on Tuesday. I'm going to be using my hummus starter, and I do have a video on how I made this. It's basically seasoned chickpeas. And what I'll be doing is I'll be taking a lot of this liquid out and putting it back in here, reserving it in case I need it. And then I'll be adding olive oil and blending it up into a hummus. Sometimes I put in tahini. I just decided not to today. No real reason, just didn't. And you'll get to see what else I typically do for a lunch. I'll help you in a minute, okay? Hold on, I'll help you in a minute. And here I'm slicing up some cucumbers that were given to us. Our cucumbers didn't produce very much this year. I try to have a variety of fresh vegetables, especially garden veggies, on these days where I make, we call it a lunch of little things. So I'll use whatever fresh veggies we have, and I'll balance it out with proteins like the hummus. And you'll see later on I have some cheese and salami, and I've got some carrots and green beans I'll add to it too. Yellow beans, but they're green beans. I topped the hummus with some sesame seeds and chili powder. Little one decided to put herself to sleep for a little rest. Now in the evening, after everyone's gone to bed, I decided to make a little surprise for my kiddos. You can screenshot the recipe that I'll print out here. There we go. So, Play-Doh. I'm going to make it smell nice, and I'm going to color it. Usually on Wednesday mornings, I go to a women's Bible study and my kids go to the child care, but one of them wasn't feeling so well, so we decided to play it safe and stay home. So everyone got to play Play-Doh, and I got to work on some projects in my sewing room. Here I'm making up some little curtains for the top of my daughter's closet. Oh, okay. What do you think of your new little curtain?
I don't really like it.
It's to hide up the stuff on the top.
And
For dinner on Wednesday, I decided to use up some of the veggies and leftovers in the fridge that needed to be used. We made a chicken and rice soup. Some of the things from the garden and just odds and ends. It turned out really well, actually.
why put most of the underwear on mine is because I don't have much underwear.
Got it.
You stole the rest of mine.
Each day, my kids have chores that help keep our house running, especially with me not being able to move very well, as you can see here by my little midweek shopping run and the really cool cart that I get to drive around. We were given some extra produce this week from a friend who got access to a couple other friends' gardens, and so as you can see, I have a lot to preserve. Everything is a learning opportunity in our home because we unschool. Here the kids were learning about building boats and how they still need to have a little bit of weight in the bottom for them to be effective and be able to stay afloat securely.
Because the bottom will be a little more down than the front.
In the middle of the day, I got a text from my husband that he shot himself in the finger with a nail gun through and through. So we're going to make a little balm for him. I start with my regular base balm. I have another video on that. I just melt it and I'm putting antibacterial oils in there. This is helichrysum and the next one is frankincense. Frankincense is very thick, so I had to remove the stopper and just glug it in there. We put it on and his finger was better the next day. With all of these cucumbers that we were given, I've decided to try out fermenting some pickles. I love my grandma's regular dill pickle recipe, so I've never used my own cucumbers to try fermenting because I just love her recipe so much I just never have tried it. But this time I am trying fermenting pickles. So the first step is to cut them into manageable sizes. And so some of these I'm quartering or cutting into eighths or cutting into halves, whatever I think is going to fit. My kids love pickles though. So we're going to add some chili powder, red pepper flakes, and some bay leaves and some dill. And I've got a jalapeno in there too because I just had a random jalapeno. And now we're just going to get the cucumbers into this gallon jar. And I saw that they were just kind of falling, so I ended up turning it on its side and trying to pack them in there a little bit more carefully. The brine recipe I'm using calls for a 10% salt brine, but if I was going to do it again, I would probably go with a 4% salt brine. So just keep that in mind if you plan on duplicating this. So I had a cup of salt, non-iodized salt, to half a gallon of water. And that ended up filling up all the gaps in my gallon jar. But as you can see, I have more pickles back there, so I ended up having to make some more containers of them as well. These weights were given to me from a follower, so thank you so much. These are fermentation weights, and they keep the pickles down in the brine. It was getting pretty close to the top, so I had to be careful. I'm writing that I have a 10% brine in case I need to add more brine to it, and I'm writing the date. And then I'm just going to put it with my other ferments. Well, some of my other ferments. And then I'll be turning off the light because they do better in a dark space. On Saturday, my husband came home and immediately started tackling the to-do list. I got to take a little drive and rest, take a little break from kiddos while he took care of them and fixed the lighting fixture in my girls' room. And when I came home, he fixed my car door. And then the only thing left was moving the meat chicks out to the pasture area that we, not really pasture, but the garden that is done for the season. My oldest got into the kitchen and made us an apple pie for dessert. I got to sew some more for my daughter's birthday coming up, a little apron and hot pads. And on Sunday, we are back in church again, worshiping and praising and being grateful for all that we're given. And after church, my husband brought all the meat chicks out into the garden to finish up. Thanks for coming along with me and seeing how my week went. I've got just a few more projects, but mostly I'm focusing on growing this big baby and hoping that she makes her appearance soon. Thanks for keeping up with us, and God bless you. Bye, guys.